There's a story of a man who was sent into a den of lions for praying. That man's name is Daniel. One day, King Darius, who is the king at this time, picks 120 men to rule over the regions of the nation. Then he picks 3 special men to be his officers to even rule over the 120 men. Then there's Daniel. See, Daniel was so good at his job that the king wanted Daniel to rule over the entire kingdom.
So the officers and rulers of that day were jealous of Daniel, and they were looking for any little thing they can use to discredit him before the king. But they couldn't find anything, because Daniel had an excellent spirit within him.
They come up with a perfect idea, and they go to the king and they say, "King, you're a great ruler, you're a great king. Let me make this proposition for you. That for 30 days, people should only pray to you, the king, and nobody else. And anybody who breaks this law should be sent to the lion's den." They did this because they knew Daniel was definitely not going to follow this rule, and that is the only way they could get Daniel to find a fault in anything about it.
King Darius agrees, and sadly he writes his name on the new law. Daniel hears that the king makes a new law. He decides to go home and pray. Mind you, this is something he did 3 times a day on a consistent basis.
So they find Daniel praying, and they immediately snitch on him. And they said, "King, look, remember the rule that you made, you made? You said that if anybody prayed to anybody but you for the next 30 days, that you would send them to the cave where the lions live." King liked Daniel so much. He was sad when he heard this news because he knew that he could not change what he said, and he knew he would have to send Daniel into the lion's den. Eventually, that's exactly what happens. The king has to send Daniel into the den of lions because he wrote it and signed it, and he can't change it.
Before the king has Daniel thrown into the lion's den, he goes to him privately and says something to him that's so powerful. "You have always continued to serve your God, and I am sure that he will save you."
After Daniel gets thrown into the lion's den, the king wakes up early. Matter of fact, the king couldn't even sleep. He wakes up very early the next day and runs to the cave where Daniel is and said, "Daniel, Daniel, have you continued to worship the living God?" He's basically saying, "Daniel, please stay with me, say you are alive." And Daniel says some of the most powerful stuff you ever hear. Tells the king, "King, live forever. My God sent an angel and has shut the mouth of the lion."
After that happens, the same people who accused Daniel are now thrown into that same den of lions. And since those lions were hungry because they hadn't ate the day before, they devoured them, their children, and everybody that was related to them.
We can learn a lot from this story. And I think one thing we can take away is when you believe in something and when something is for you, be consistent and be persistent in that.